Hey guys, Cam here from Pocket-Lint, and the OnePlus 6T is out. And that means there's plenty to discover in the software, and we've been looking through it over the last few days and weeks to see if there's anything interesting. Here's our 16 tips and tricks for you to try on your brand new OnePlus 6T, many of which will probably be ending up on the OnePlus 6 as well. Apologies in advance if I do go too quickly for you. Don't forget there is that pause button somewhere down there. You can make use of that and then go back. Obviously skip forwards and backwards as you please. Enjoy.
Now first up is using the power button as an assistant key. Now one of the cool features within this version of OnePlus's software is the ability to press and hold the power button for a short while to launch Google Assistant or Alexa. Head to Settings, Buttons and Gestures, and then activate the toggle next to the option that says Quick Activate the Assistant app. Now when you press the power button for half a second, it'll launch Google Assistant. Or if you want to, just tap the option and it'll let you choose Alexa if you have the Alexa app installed, just in case you prefer Amazon's version of digital assistants. Second is changing the screen unlock animation. Now when you use the in-display fingerprint sensor, a little animation appears around your thumb on the screen, and you can actually change it. Head to Settings, Security and Lock Screen, and then choose Fingerprint. Now type in your PIN, and then you can choose Fingerprint Animation Effect in the next menu, and choose the animation that you like the most. Now when you unlock your phone, it'll have the new animation effect. Number 3 is choosing the custom accent color. Now before Android Pie, OnePlus gave you a small selection of colors to use as accents within the software. But now you can choose your own custom color. Head to Settings, Display, and scroll down to Accent Color. Choose the bottom right square, and now you use the sliders and the color palette to adjust the color and the darkness to suit you. It's a virtually unrestricted choice of hues, so you can really fine-tune the way the color looks. Next up is quick searching instead of the app drawer. Now as standard, when you swipe up on the home screen, your app drawer full of apps will show up. But if you'd rather find a specific app quickly every time, you can enable quick search that launches every time instead. To activate it, open the app drawer and tap the 3 dots in the top right corner, and then tap Enable Quick Search. From now on, whenever you swipe up, Quick Search will launch, allowing you to search specifically for the app you want. You can also just tap on a category of apps to see an automatically collated selection. To go back to the regular app drawer, just tap the arrow in the top left. Number 5 is switching the sound output. Now if you're connected via Bluetooth to one or more speakers or pairs of earphones, or even if you're using a pair of wired earphones, you can quickly switch audio between them by simply pressing the volume button and then tapping the media output button. And now choose where you want the music to play. Number 6 is auto-resuming music when earphones are connected. Now if you want, you can have the OnePlus 6T automatically resume your music when you connect earphones. Just head to Settings, Sound, and then tap Earphone Mode. Now toggle on the Auto Play switch. Number 7 is showing text-only notifications when you're gaming. As part of its gaming mode, OnePlus blocks notifications during gaming on any apps that you've added within the gaming mode settings. But if you still want to see them in a less obtrusive text pop-up, you can do. Head to Settings, Utilities, Gaming Mode. Now tap the How to Show Notifications option and choose Text Only. You can also choose to have calls come through the loudspeaker during gaming by toggling on the Answer Calls via Speaker option in the Gaming Mode options. Number 8 quickly is hiding the notch. It might be small, but you can hide it by going to Settings, Display, Notch Area, and then just switch it off. Number 9 is switching navigation buttons back on. Now by default, the OnePlus 6T running Android Pie will have its own version of Android Pie's navigation switch. And that means dragging up or across on the small pill-shaped home button to access multitasking options. If you want to go back to the classic 3-button navigation, you can. Just go to Settings, Buttons and Gestures, then Navigation Bar and Gestures, and choose Back, Home, Recents. This then activates the old 3-button system Android has had for years. Next up is switching to the gestures-only navigation. So as well as the button-based gesture mode, there's a navigation option that requires no button on the screen at all. In the same menu as the last tip, choose Navigation Gestures. Now this existed on the Android Oreo version of software too. So swiping up from the center takes you home, swiping up and holding launches recent apps, and swiping up from the left or right takes you back. Number 11 is activating Wi-Fi calling. Now, by default, Wi-Fi calling should be automatically activated if your SIM and carrier supports it. If it isn't, head into Settings, then find Wi-Fi and Internet before selecting SIM and Network. Now tap on the active SIM card at the top and you'll see Wi-Fi calling as an option on the next screen. Toggle it on, and if your plan carrier supports it, it will activate Wi-Fi calling. Number 12 is choosing an animated live wallpaper. Now, as part of its own custom set of abstract still colourful wallpapers, the OnePlus 6T also has a small selection of wallpapers that animate and shift when you unlock the phone. Press and hold on the home screen and choose Wallpapers. Now swipe across until you get to the ones that have a little icon in the corner of a mountain surrounded by dots. Choose one of those and you'll have an animated wallpaper. 13 is Parallel and Locked Apps. Now in Settings and Utilities, you'll find both App Locker and Parallel Apps options. The former lets you lock specific apps behind a password or a fingerprint scan, and even hide notifications from that app so no prying eyes can see any sensitive information. It's easy to set up by just choosing which apps you want in there. Similarly, in the Parallel Apps option, you can choose from a list of compatible apps that you want to make clones of, just in case you need to have two separate accounts for any specific app. 14 is onto the camera and manual HDR control. By default, the camera uses its own processing power to determine when it should use HDR mode. But if you'd rather choose yourself, you can add a manual camera HDR control. Launch the camera and swipe up to reveal the additional shooting modes and the settings cog. Tap this settings option and then find the manual camera HDR toggle. Switch it on and now you have a manual HDR control in your camera viewfinder. 15 is Auto Night Scene. Now similarly, if you'd like the phone to automatically detect when it should use its nightscape mode, you'll find the automatic night scene toggle right beneath the manual HDR one. And that means you'll no longer need to find the night scene switch in the shooting modes to make use of the feature. 16 and lastly are the Easter eggs. Now these are the same as before, but if you're new to OnePlus, they're fun to try. Open the default OnePlus calculator and then type OnePlus equals and see what happens. And just like other Android Pie phones, head to Settings, About Phone and scroll down to Android version. Tap on it and then tap repeatedly on Android version in the field that appears in the pop-up window, and you'll launch the hypnotic Android P Easter egg animation. Sadly, unlike the Pixel though, there's no extra doodle pad here.
Now, of course, there are plenty more things to do with this phone, and you can find them on our sites. We'll be publishing a much more in-depth and extensive long list of tips, tricks and tutorials over the coming days. I've been Cam, I'm at Cam Bunton on all the important social media networks, so go follow me there, hit that thumbs up and subscribe for more videos like this. I'll see you again soon.